Bearcat Bounce Podcast. Back at it again. Monday following a fun scrimmage with BCJ in attendance. That's right, Bearcat Journal in attendance for the Cincinnati Bearcat scrimmage in beautiful Nippert Stadium. As fall camp, Aaron, I saw your tweet. You don't like the fall camp, but as camp continues, Monday, following a completed addition to the basketball program. Monday also following the debut of episode 1 of a nice little docu-series for getting you excited for the Bearcat basketball team as well. Also Monday, following a fantastic weekend where, wherever you were, I hope you enjoyed it because I sure did. But it's a Monday where we're down 1, but we're going to be a strong 3. So without further ado, we're going to bring in everybody. That's right. Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm good. I have never been so ready for school to start. I have done nothing but drive this kid around, or the last 3 weeks sit in the passenger seat while the kid has driven me around.
Okay.
But I am ready for her to go back to school and to be dropped off at 7:30 in the morning and picked up at 6:30 at night. Like, I'm ready.
And that fires up when?
Wednesday.
Oh,
Wednesday.
Okay. We're there.
Yeah. I had to pick her up from practice today at 6:30, drive her 40 minutes to her friend's house, then 30 minutes back here. They got out of practice 10 minutes late, and we had to stop at Chipotle for her to eat. I got home like 8 minutes before 8 o'clock. So I'm tapped out on summer.
You know what?
Done.
Summer's coming to a close, as you mentioned last week. It's kind of wrapping up here soon. But man, Wednesday is only a couple days away. So the whole entire you're able to lock in and enjoy certain time away is right here. But I do want to say, Chad, I want to give you a little bit of a clap. It just means you're a good father. That's good dad work right there, man. Really good dad work.
Yeah, good for me.
We appreciate it. Absolutely appreciate it. Aaron, you made it to Cincy, huh? Nice little trip over the weekend. And how was the rest of it? How are we, my man?
I'm good. I can't wait for school to start either. That'll give me less kids in the house all day long. So that starts Friday. So I can't wait. But no, weekend was good. Got to get out and see little scrimmage action, and then left my book bag on the field and had to turn around on the highway and head back to pick up my book bag and get it. Yeah, oh yeah.
How far out were you?
I was up to that school we don't like to talk about's exit.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So you're telling me you like maybe swung by there, a couple upper deckers, and
hell no,
swung right back? No,
nah.
Fair enough.
But it was a good weekend. Just got to see some family and hang out, and now back in Athens and prepping for school starting on Friday.
School is back, baby. When does UC start?
The Monday of the game. So 28th, 27th, 26th, the 25th, I guess.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, summer's coming to a close. Hey, you know what's the smartest thing to do? Well, first off, before I do my beautiful segue, my weekend was great. Thanks for asking, guys. I had a nice little.
How was your weekend, Brent?
Oh, Chad, how are we? It was fantastic. You know, I went to a bachelor party, and this is a bachelor party unlike those known to you guys or many people, but not one where, involved a Las Vegas trip or anything like that, but one where you went to Minneapolis, you drove in a car 3 hours north, went to a nice little lake house, and then there was a Survivors theme. There was like 28 dudes up there, Survivor theme. Did different tasks throughout the weekend, this, that, and the other. Pretty much just a lot of debauchery and a lot of testosterone, a lot of high tea going on for 4 days.
Did you vote people off the trip?
So there was not that. We were thinking there was. We were making. Well, we got there. We all were separated into tribes. We had little buffs that we all wore. I was on the team Smorons. It was a good squad. We didn't do too well, but we tried our hardest. It was a good time though. But no, there was no voting off.
You got to vote people off. You're out.
I thought that's what there was going to be. I was texting people before the trip to try and get some like alliances formed and this, that, and the other. It turns out that was never really the case. It was just a lot of competitions for your tribes and adding up numbers and this, that, and the other. But
but there's no reward if everybody gets to stay.
Well,
like Jim, there's 3 days left. There's 2 days left in the trip, and you're out. Like you got to get in the car and go back to Minnesota.
Oh, we were hoping that there was going to be one like Bitcoin available to the winning team. That's what we were hoping. One full Bitcoin available to the winning team. And then there would have been like some, shanking going on during the nighttime. And that would have turned into a real competition. But no, this was a lot of fun, a lot of drinking, a lot of hanging out, a lot of good times. But no, not many. Goes to bachelor party, somebody thinks so. Oh, wow. Okay.
We're starting hot tonight.
I'm all in for it. How
many drinks have you had at this bar in Key West, D. Smith? And yeah, the Reds completely crapped the bed in the 8th inning tonight.
How about the Reds are a damn roller coaster as well right now, man. I tell you what, I feel like
this is what a 500 team looks like.
Every single night.
There's no peaks. There's no valleys. This is not a roller coaster. This is
right.
Iowa.
It is. Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is.
Win two, lose two, win two, lose two, win two, lose two, win two, lose two.
And the Brewers won again. Let's go. Cheering on the other teams. It's like bubble watch all over, but we'll go Reds. But it was a fun weekend. Real quick, I told you guys off air, and you guys were like captivated by this comment about the trip.
What a story this is.
Beyond thrilled. It was like unbelievable. It was absolutely unbelievable. But so I was in one of the cars that we were going up north. We had to wait for one guy that was from Chicago, was originally from Michigan as well. A guy that I had not met previous to the trip. So, I'm in my car waiting for him. I'm not driving, but I'm a passenger in said car. And the comment comes up about the excitement and the fun that I have enjoying the University of Cincinnati, especially the football and basketball and sports programs, if you will. And this guy goes, "Oh, wow, you wouldn't happen to know the strength and conditioning coach for the football team, do you?" And I was like, "Oh, Nico Palizzetti? You talking about the GOAT?" And then went on. He played linebacker with Nico in high school at Detroit Catholic Central. He went on to tell me all these stories about Nico. And I immediately texted Nico with the enthusiasm and excitement that I could possibly muster up at that early in the bachelor party. So yeah, it was a fun connection right there. And a connection then where we went cars up 3 hours, cars back 3 hours. If you're making trips like that, especially Chad Brundle, who has made numerous trips like that, just being the great father that he is, I highly suggest that you head over to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Get that car checked out before the school year starts. Get that car checked out before you head on over to Arrowhead Stadium for the Bearcats versus the Nebraska Cornhuskies. And Danco Joe will hook you up. He will get you an oil change, $10 off that. He'll get you 10% off your next fixing. Danco Joe will hook it up. So, boy, oh boy, it's been a weekend. And a weekend where I get to then, lick wounds on Sunday and kind of go through everything I missed on Saturday. And boy, oh boy, it sounds like I missed quite a lot. The BCJ fam was out in full force at Nippert Stadium for the scrimmage. I think my collective, what I was able to gain from it is that run defense looked stout, pass offense looked dominant, and then little freshman running back magic towards the end. Am I kind of knocking it out there with all three connections? Or I know you guys had a little conversation last night, and I absolutely just despise you guys doing that. You knew we had the BBP tonight, and just
I know. You're sitting at home watching it like these mother. What are we going to talk about tomorrow?
We got to fill in 2 hours of showtime. What are we going to do?
No, there's not a 2-hour requirement on this show.
No,
there's just like 3 ad reads we have to do, and then we can be done in 20 minutes technically.
Well, if you haven't noticed, we are one man down. So
we are.
Most of the time, that does mean it turns into quite the shorter episode. But this sort of brings a lot of nostalgia, the three of us. But anyway, back to Saturday. Those 3 key points that I want to dive in further, but it does seem like kind of, defense didn't get dominated, but they kind of let up enough points where you could surmise that they kind of weren't the greatest as they have been. And maybe the passing game was just showing a lot more than what we had seen up to that point.
I wouldn't get out too over my skis on the freshman running backs. It was generally against the third team. So like threes on threes, Zion Johnson looked good. Coffee made a nice couple nice runs, but they should do that against, the third team. So I wouldn't get too out over my skis over that. It's good to see them being active and producing. So that's not to like diminish anything that they do, but like if they were doing it against the ones, it would be a different conversation than what happened. The quarterbacks were just really good, I thought, on Saturday. Like they made some throws against solid coverage that were just like, okay, that's all right. If that's going to happen this year, this offense is going to be pretty tough to stop. And then, the defense was good against the run. And the defense rebounded today. They were much better against the pass at practice today. So that ebb and flow of camp continues, where you see one get a leg up, and then maybe a day it's even, and then the other side takes off, and kind of that peaks and valleys that we've had throughout camp on each side. But the story of the day is Saturday was the quarterbacks were really, really good, and they spread it out, and they hit a bunch of different guys. And you got to look at, a lot of the new receiver targets. And overall, it's a lot of what you want from a scrimmage. Some good on both sides, some stuff to work on.
Aaron, going to bring you in. Coming into it, after spring wrapped up, I think a lot of the talk, and especially the receiving corps, was surrounded by what Jeff Caldwell was going to be able to do, and kind of just how he is a specimen, and he's got speed, he's got length, he's got athleticism, everything you need out of a potential budding next level, pass catcher. Now it seems like Cyrus Allen is the one that's really kind of separating himself as the potential favorite target, at least in the wide receiver room for Brendan Sorsby. Were you able to kind of collect that thought when you kind of saw connections between Cyrus and Sorsby throughout the day? Was Caldwell still pretty heavily involved? Just as far as that side of things go, because like Chad said, it did seem like Jennings a touchdown, Goody a touchdown, Isaiah Johnson a touchdown. It just seemed like so many different players were kind of getting it. Is it Cyrus Allen and then everyone else? I'm pretty enthralled by exactly how that wide receiver corps is gonna shape out.
No, I think it's just the fact that you have guys who actually play different positions and are all actually weapons this time around, instead of just Xavier Henderson and company. So you have the short, shifty guy, you have the possession guy, you have the guy who goes over the middle, you have the guy who can run the go route, and go up and get a 50-50 ball. So you have just different guys who have different traits about them that are different weapons for Sorsby to use. He wasn't just looking for or keying in on anybody. I think he was spreading the ball around, and he had plenty of time in the pocket to where he could make reads. He wasn't just firing away because there was somebody in his face. He had time to make his check downs and get the ball to who he needed to get the ball to. There wasn't a ton of, I didn't think anyway, a ton of screen stuff or anything. So I don't know how much of that is realistic for what you're going to see in a game type situation. But that's what we had during scrimmage. That all said, I don't think we even really saw much involvement out of Joe Royer. I think Patrick Gerd actually got more passes thrown his way than Joe Royer, if I remember correctly. But, just another wrinkle that you would think would be considered during an actual game is the fact that tight end will probably have a lot more involvement. The running back would have a lot more involvement. So just a lot of different weapons at their disposal.
Yeah, I wonder if that kind of ties into the whole thing that Stat mentioned after the scrimmage. They wanted to get a lot of different looks on tape and see kind of who fits in best, kind of what scenarios work the best as well. Do you think that's kind of why they spread it out, Chad, or do you think it's just kind of just how it all evened out? I mean, the passing
throw
game
it to the guy that's open.
Yeah,
throw it to the guy that's open. The difference, hopefully, being that this year there's a lot more guys open than there were last year. We'll see.
That's what it kind of seems like. And by the way, the group chat just chatting about Key West. I'm loving this. We've got a squad here today, baby. Would you say just speed in general is the biggest upgrade compared to last year in the wide receiver corps? Because I mean, Jamoy Mays and it seems like they were more possession and kind of shorter and shifty, but not just overall top end speed.
I think that's fair. I mean, I think the plan was to be like a ball control, clock control, because I think they knew year one of Tyson Vite's defense, at least early, it was going to take some time. So maybe they tried to stack the odds in their favor. The problem was those guys didn't get open a whole lot. Mm-hmm. So, it was pretty balanced, but I think the idea was, maybe you have Henderson to take the top off, but that never really materialized. Like he never really, my problem with him was always it felt like they had him run two routes, had him run deep or they had him run a stop. Right. And there wasn't a lot of the other route tree that you ever really saw him. Like you go back to the Texas Tech game where he caught the pass across the middle, took it for a touchdown. Felt like that was the only play like that we had all season.
Never saw
last
it again.
year. Yeah. So, I just think they have guys that have a little bit more ability in terms of different ways to hurt you, and not so many guys that like this is what they do. And if you can stop that one thing, then you're probably going to stop the offense.
We might as well just tie in the two deep right now. Obviously, BearcatJournal.com. I couldn't think of a better source of news about the Cincinnati Bearcats than that website. Boy, oh boy, head on over there. Chad Brendel, the man, posted the offensive two deep volume 1.1. Wide receiver room, pretty,
that's
standard.
Volume 1.0.
We've heard. Yeah, 1.0. Yeah. Pardon me for the non-reading. You had Cyrus Allen, Jeff Caldwell, Caleb Goody in there as the top. Noah Jennings, Isaiah Johnson, Barry Jackson / Elijah Jones as the twos. Do you kind of just see can Allen and Caldwell kind of mix around everywhere, or is Caleb Goody going to be that slot receiver? Is it
so Allen moves around everywhere? We have seen him for all three spots, bouncing around, outside, field, boundary, slot, in motion, orbit motion. Like we have seen them do a little bit of everything with Cyrus Allen. So that's why I didn't put like field, boundary, slot they're not really doing that. Like I've seen Caldwell line up on both sides. Allen is lined up on both sides. He's also lined up in the slot. Goody has been outside field. He's been inside. So there really hasn't been like a set 1, 2, 3 like you would normally think of. Mainly because they're doing a lot with Cyrus Allen.
Mm-hmm. And then Noah Jennings has been coming on a lot recently. Do you think with Royer and the ability that he has catching the ball, do you think there will be not many 4 wide receiver sets, or do you think it's going to kind of be the ability to kind of get all those guys that can take the top off that you've seen so far in camp?
I'm guessing we see a lot of 11 personnel.
Mm-hmm.
1 back, one tight end, and 3 wide receivers. I would think we might see more 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver stuff than we do 4 wide receivers. Also, Royer's a pass catcher. Like, if you've got Royer on the field, you have 4 wide receivers on the field. So, I mean, in looking at it that way, like I most of the time you're going to have 4 guys you can send out into a route.
Yeah, true. Aaron, you got your eyes on the running backs for the first time this offseason. Thoughts on how you think, Evan Pryor's kind of shaping out? Does Tawee looks like he's going to kind of be that feature back, or do you think it's going to be a 50-50 split just from what you saw on Saturday?
I saw some different things on Saturday. I saw them moving the running back out into as a receiver, where they had no running back in the backfield at all. Saw them doing 2 backs in the backfield at some points. So just some different looks that we may or may not see this season. So something to keep an eye on there. As far as the backs themselves, Tawee Walker got the bulk of the first carries, with Pryor not seeing the field until really the second drive. So I don't know that you can necessarily make anything of that. Then we saw Manny Kobe.
I do think you can make something of that, Aaron.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if it's going to be a drive-by-drive thing with those 2 guys. Like, where you're not going to see, like, one come in the middle of a drive. You're going to see Tawee gets this drive, then Pryor gets this drive. Like, that's at least something that crossed my mind in how they were using them.
With them bringing Manny Kobe in to spell Tawee Walker initially, I was just curious in my head if maybe the thought process was, if you're going to use Tawee Walker as your bell cow and kind of almost use Pryor in that same type of role he had last season, or they just wanted to know what it would look like if Pryor if Tawee Walker was to go down, what Pryor would look like with the bulk of the carries on a drive. So I don't know. I don't know what any of that necessarily means. I don't know what the thought process was behind any of that. I don't know if maybe their roles are going to be so similar that's why they gave, Covey the reps spelling Tawee Walker initially. I'm not really sure. But in any case, Tawee Walker he reminds me a lot as far as stature of like Maurice Jones-Drew, like just small little bowling ball. I don't know that I've seen anybody at UC quite in his stature, his build, just because of how small he is. But still,
he's Mike Warren with muscles.
It's strange.
Mike was little.
Yeah. But we saw plenty of stuff from all the running backs. I didn't see any even Chance Williams, and I wasn't sure what we were going to. I still don't know quite what to expect out of Chance Williams this season, because I feel like we had a cup of coffee with him last season. We didn't really get to see what he could bring to the table. So I don't know. Just I think there's a lot of opportunity in that room for somebody to step up and take that 3rd spot. So it just is a matter of who's gonna take the opportunity when given.
Yeah. One last thing on Cyrus Allen. I do love when Sorsby said that, there's one guy who always thinks he's open and comes back and tells me, hey, I was open on that one, and that's Cyrus Allen. I want that irrational sense of confidence in a number 1 receiver. Like, give me that every day. As long as he doesn't push it too far. But yeah, I'm okay with that. Kind of the same on the other side at cornerback. So I liked what I heard from there. I guess just kind of the lack of success running the football. on Saturday. Like you said, Chad, I guess it was kind of resolved a bit today. So possibly just defense had a good day and not too much to look into there, because who knows? One of the things obviously is Sat's just always been known to be able to figure out how to run the ball well. So that'd be great to have all those forces working as one. Offensive line, it looked like, on the 2D, the starters are kind of as we expected. I think the biggest takeaway would probably be Lozo being one that they really feel confident in to be kind of that swing at the guard positions. And then I can't forget to mention, every single time it sounds like Sat mentions Judea Milan. Is that he's been out the entire fall camp, if I'm correct, right, Chad? But
he's been hurt more than he's been healthy since he got here.
Right. But for some reason, he always just mentions him in most of the pressers, or the post game wrap ups. So
he gets mentioned to me a lot too, and he hasn't been out there enough for me to really have formed an opinion on him. Right. I know the recruiting department loves him. I know Cardwell loves him. I know Sat loves him, but hasn't been on the field a whole lot. So it's hard for me to reciprocate the love, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. But one thing I did like to hear is that Cardwell said after Tyler had just an okay spring, it sounds like he's really showing some good things in this fall camp. So I can only hope that continues to get better. But man, that O-line, if Dave's as confident as he is in the potential of this offensive line starting here in a few weeks, then I can hop on board with him. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, the question is going to be, obviously, how quickly does Joe Cotton, one, get in tune with everybody he's working with, and two, adjust to higher level defensive ends, pass rushers. So, I think he's going to be fine, but he's jumping up a level, and week 1 is Nebraska. Like, he's not going to get to start out FCS, MAC, and then put his feet to the fire. So, I think it's fair to say we don't know exactly what I think he's going to be playing better football as the season goes along. I think he's been really good in camp. Like, I don't have any major concerns about him, but I do think it's fair. I've seen some people question jumping up a level. I think that's fair, especially, you're protecting Sorsby's blind side week 1 against a pretty good defense in Nebraska.
Yeah. So they have a week and a half to fully mold and just be ready. And I mean, every team's going to have the question.
17 days.
Yeah, 17 days. Yeah, well, 2.5 weeks. Sorry, remember, just got back from a weekend, so the math and the word articulation might not be fully there. But hey, we're pushing through. Offensively, and anything more there, Aaron? I know kind of you were pretty keen to special teams and defense as well, and so we can just kind of move this forward if you have anything else offensively, though.
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything at this point.
Okay, that's what we do here on the podcast. But let's roll into defense then. Just a singular player that caught your eye, both of you guys. That a couple days removed now, you're just like, okay, well, thinking back on it, he really did have a pretty stellar day on Saturday.
Aaron,
I don't know. I guess I'd probably go with Dontay. Just good to see him back out there for summer camp, if you will. Just getting some push, getting up in Sorsby's face at one point. And just I think him being out there is just going to continue to improve this room, improve the defensive front, and hopefully get things back on track, back to what they once were. Dingle talked about how this is the first time that he's had a defensive coordinator 2 seasons in a row. And I think there's probably something to be said for that. I wonder how much they were even putting out there as far as the exotic looks or anything like that we'll see come the regular season. But I wouldn't imagine they're, especially in an event that's open to the public, they're putting a ton out there that you're going to be seeing on Saturdays. So
yeah, that's good to hear then, because I think someone asked a response on the board saying, like, I haven't really seen the Godfather's name mentioned much on the practice reports. Chad, I imagine that's probably just because
He's
deep
been
in his
mentioned a
career.
bunch.
Yeah, but like also this deep in his career, it's like, you're just going to get that consistent, dominant strength at that nose tackle.
Really
position.
hard to block. Like, at least once a
Right.
practice, he makes a play where you're just like, how did he do that?
Right. Exactly.
Like, how was he quick enough to end up in that spot from where he started as quick as he did?
Yep.
And a lot of it's just footwork and strength and, being able to easily displace folks that are trying to stop him from getting to point B from point A. I think he's been mentioned quite a bit in the practice reports.
Yeah.
He's flashed in practice plenty,
Yeah.
So not really worried about that. I'd say the guy for me that stood out, that has been standing out and stood out again on Saturdays, CJ McCray. Like, we're looking for somebody to show that they can get off the line of scrimmage and get pressure on the quarterback. And he has been the guy that most frequently has done that. D. Smith, he didn't end up eating the second tomahawk. He ordered it, but he got back to the room and he said he realized that the first one was a lot more food than he had anticipated, and he didn't eat the second one. But he did order 2 well done tomahawks.
Yeah,
crispy.
Crispy. Yeah, a little side of, is it ranch or ketchup? Well, either one.
He does ranch on his well done tomahawks.
Okay, fair enough.
Get a big old glob of mayonnaise and slap on that bad boy.
Oh, yeah, sounds good. So it does seem like the most, not concerning, but kind of area needed to have more improvement or someone start to flash more is that consistent pass rush. And I imagine they aren't going to do many looks with just blitzing a linebacker from that second level throughout camp, or I don't know if you've seen that. It does seem like at times last year there were, and maybe it's just the overall depth of and availability of healthy defensive linemen can help with the pass rush as the game wears on, because there were moments last year where it was just no pass rush, and then the ability to find the open receivers for the opponent was kind of there. So I don't know, hopefully maybe some packages to bring some linebackers off the edge and different things of that sort to really get after the passer, because if not, like you've mentioned numerous times, Chad, and like you have as well, Aaron, Big 12 is quarterback healthy league this year. So you give these guys time in that pocket, it's going to be a long game, and one where you're going to have to then rely on Sorsby in the offense to keep up. So hopefully someone sparks from there as well. Are you seeing a separation of CB1, CB2, or I have seen Stokes' name mentioned a few more times on the recent practice reports and things of that sort, but probably just a healthy ability to have a rotation there on the outside?
Yeah, I mean, I think McDoom is probably pretty comfortably number 1, with Logan Wilson pretty comfortably number 2. I'd also, I think Daniel James has done a nice job. Stokes, I mean, we've talked about this, like he's playing corner for the first time. So it's probably going to continue to take him a little while to get adjusted, but he's been making more plays. So yeah, we're getting there with him, but I don't think I anticipated right away that he was going to come in and like set the world on fire. So
Yeah.
it's going about as expected with him. The nice thing about him is if he does figure it out, the upside is outstanding because he's long and he's fast and he's got all the physical traits that you're looking for.
Aaron, I think it's time. Because I mean, linebackers, we have talked about linebackers nonstop, and I think that's going to be one of the biggest strengths of the team. So we don't need to further dive into that one. But yeah, Dingle did keep mentioning the fact that this is the first time in his career that he's had the same defensive scheme in back-to-back seasons. That can't be discredited. So just that overall continuity of having the same scheme, similar, terminology, similar ability to kind of just build on what you've learned in year one under Tyson Veit now into year two. So hopefully that's a big addition on that side. Safety wise, Chad, I know you're going to be publishing that Too Deep here and probably by the end of tonight or tomorrow. What did you have as the initial Too Deep in the safety, or at least the starters that you see, or is it kind of a 1A, 1B type approach still?
That was the longest. I have no idea at this point. I thought the question started to me, and then he switched to you. I don't know where we're at.
Teams. I was going to ask him about
that. Was pretty. Maybe was the most confusing question in the history of the BBP.
All it was who do you have as your 1A and 1B on the safeties? That was what the question was in a roundabout way.
In a roundabout way. Oh,
it's like one of those 7-lane European roundabouts.
Hey,
at one side I have Christian Harrison and Marquavius Sabor. At least that's how it looked as of Saturday. At star, Jaquan Sanks was out first, and then Xavier Williams and Antoine Peak worked in behind him, and then at the boundary. Trayvon Gala-Collard and Tayden Barnes in that order. We did talk with Coach Braithwaite today, Keegan and I, so you get a little bit more insight there, but a lot of that is still fluid. I mean, they're still moving guys to different sides. They're still trying out some different stuff. They are, it sounds like, going to take advantage of having 17 days until the opener to fully figure out what things look like. I think the star position, those are the three guys you're going to see. In what order you see them, I'm not entirely sold on yet, but Sanks was the first guy out there at that position with Harrison and Gala-Collard. And then but Harrison's getting looks on the other side potentially as well. So still up in the air. I don't think they know. I don't think they have fully made that decision yet on what that Too Deep looks like, because I've tried to poke around. I think I know a lot from what I've seen at practice, but what I've seen at practice is a lot of different guys in those spots with the ones and the twos. So, I mean, I think that's the most likely thing we see, but it could be an entirely different combination when they take the field at Arrowhead in 17 days. I think they're still toying with it some, because they have so many guys that I think they believe can be Big 12 starter level at the position.
Good. That's a good thing to have. That's a wait and see. That's a stay tuned to BCJ. Now, Aaron, tell me about the special teams. Done.
What a fast question. It was. I said it last night. It was the most special teams practice time I've ever seen in a Bearcats practice since I've been covering the team. At least any of the practices that I've been to. You saw the ones come out, then you saw the twos come out, then you saw the threes come out, and they did what I assume normal teams do when practicing special teams. So that was a breath of fresh air, and good to see that this team is certainly focused on making sure that special teams has a place to be worked on and hopefully crafted to where you don't see some of the giant gaffes that we have grown accustomed to seeing over the course of the last couple seasons. That said, God, Max Fletcher is different. Just watching him, he if he wants to boot it down the field, he will boot it down the field. It's got a beautiful spiral on it. It's ridiculous. If he wants it to have hang time, he will give it plenty of hang time, and it will go where he wants it to go. If he wants it to have distance and hang time, so be it. And he will make sure that that kick does exactly that. It's incredible to see somebody with the last name Fletcher making balls rain again. So
Here we go. Gunners, did you get a look at them or? Gunners?
Look, I was fascinated just watching the ball soar, if I'm being completely honest. Because
they weren't doing live returns.
Oh,
so, there's a
I mean,
couple
they were, but
options.
kind of, but it wasn't. I mean, they were still running down the field trying to get to the ball and have hats around the ball, but they weren't. No one's hitting. You don't want it. The last thing you want is to have somebody standing there catching a ball and get hit by a freight train at 20 miles an hour during a practice.
We're also not allowed to talk about special teams, really. Details.
Okay.
They like that to not be out in the public stratosphere with their new special teams coordinator.
Which, by the way, you finally were able to get to talk to, and
he's an intense guy.
And he's a man with the damn plan too.
It's an intense guy.
He is. He really is. Wow. So just kind of a whole different approach from what I'm able to gather, at least in that part.
There's a lot of special teams practice in there, Aaron.
I don't think I've said too much to ruffle any type of feathers that you're out there.
No, I didn't say. I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say you did. I'm just saying in general, like they want special teams to be a little bit of a surprise for people. I think.
All right.
It's just you can tell that it's being taken very seriously. It's not just going out there just to make sure that you ran it for the day. It's something that they're honing in on. It's something that it's not just a half field dedicated to running special teams while there's something else going on the other half of field. They're genuinely making sure again that they get 1s, 2s, and 3s on both sides of the ball practicing. So there's a lot of guys involved, as you can imagine, when you're running 3 deep on special teams.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, so what's the final schedule for the rest of camp, Chad? It goes through what, middle of next week, I believe, or
I mean it's pretty much done this week. They'll get into more detailed like practice stuff starting next week, and then I think Saturday
Scrimmage
would be the start of game week. No, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday would be the start of game week. Right. So camp pretty much Friday is the second scrimmage.
Okay.
And then I think they get the weekend off, and then it's like, okay, all sights on getting to the season.
There we go.
Hunter, let's go. Big 20 spot.
Go ahead and read it, Aaron.
Okay. Super important question, gents. Does this group love to lay the lumber? Do they love to put dudes in the dirt? Big hits change momentum. Feels like we were on the receiving end of them last year more than we gave them out.
I mean, right now we have no way. Like they're very rarely live tackling. They have guys like Simeon Coleman loves to hit. Jaquan Sanks loves to hit. Like they've got guys that Sabor, Golday, Dontay. But that's not something that I really could give you any like legitimate answer in terms of camp, because if they were laying the lumber in camp, they would get a very stern talking to.
You don't want to injure your own.
Yeah, I think they have more guys that are physical and want to, come up and hit you on this defense. But in terms of what I couldn't tell you based on what I've seen at camp, yes or no, because they're just not hitting much.
Yeah,
Nor should they be.
Obviously, Simeon Coleman, if he wanted to, could probably hurt someone every practice. I feel like he's probably pulled back a little bit. No, because I feel like last year a lot of the camp reports were like Simeon laid a boom, but that's a freshman trying to make his name known. Now it's like don't hurt our running backs, please. Do not hurt our receivers, please. So yeah, that's good to hear. I like it. Well, I've got nothing else more. Chad will have that defensive 2 deep up sometime soon, and slowly molding the team together as the kickoff of the 2025 season draws closer. Man, I'm excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So timestamp and we riff with Aaron, then we mailbag it. Yeah.
I mean, we're not sponsored on Riffin, so we don't necessarily have to do it. But
so we touch on basketball, then we
mailbag, and the mailbag brought to you by our good friend Greg Hoodin today.
Boom,
officially,
baby.
He made his choice, Brent, and his choice
was the mailbag over
mailbag.
Wow, let's go. Because he knows that segment has the potential to be a full hour within itself when it's really cooking. So.
When the season gets coming, it's not a bad segment to sponsor. This timestamp brought to you by good friends at Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly, low minimum next-day deliveries. They provide a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Boom, baby. Not much basketball-wise. I know you and Aaron had a nightcap regarding Jordi, the addition of Jordi. And then it also said Jizzle in the thumbnail. I wasn't able to listen to it, but anything you guys want to rehash from that here in case any of the listeners of the pods itself missed it?
Not really. Jizzle's down with John Lucas. It's a place where people go to work on basketball and get things organized in life and get some help. And I think it is a good thing. I think that is a sign in the right direction. If you notice, there haven't been any Instagram blow-ups. Things have mellowed out. I don't know what that means. I couldn't tell you if Jizzle is going to play this year, not going to play this year. Like, a lot of that, I think, is still to be determined. But it sounds like, at least at the time being, he's getting some help and things are moving in a positive direction.
Yeah. Which is, some things are bigger than basketball, sadly. So hopefully that all goes well and things can improve on that end. And, whenever it comes to happen, hopefully it works all well for all sides involved. So Jordi Rodriguez, 2 questions on him. First off, this is from a Spanish sports reporter. I saw this on the day that he finally, officially committed. It was Jordi Rodriguez is one of the least self-conscious shooters I've ever seen in my life. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, he's the one who executed one of the most important shots in the history of Spanish basketball. I'm not sure what that is, but hey, interesting. How we could use a shooter like that coming through. So that's talking about him having the ability to play in Spain as well. And then obviously there's a lot of people talking about Corey Evans had toughness, shooting, positional size, and versatility. amped to have Jordi in the 5-1-3. Just more and more about him. Obviously, we kind of touched on it a bit last week, but official now. Pretty cool picture having Wes with Baba and Jordi over there is in those. So I guess just anything more to tie up with Jordi. It seems like you know what, anytime you can add shooting like that and potentially see where it can go. Was this a Corey Evans special? Was this kind of a connection with Baba and things kind of flow through? And when do we expect him on campus, I guess?
I mean, I would expect him before the start of school in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, I think they start classes. So I would expect him then. If not, shortly thereafter, there could be, you know, getting the visa stuff and the travel stuff all taken care of. That, you know, could cause a delay, but I don't see anything that wouldn't get him over here in the fairly not too distant future. Game wise, I mean, if you watched some of those games that he and Baba were playing, I mean, Aaron is going to hate this guy. Hate him. Because he is going to pull up 4 feet beyond the line on a 3-on-1 fast break, and he is going to let it rip.
Mm-hmm.
And odds are usually pretty good he's going to put it in. But Aaron is going to hate him. Like, just be prepared to hear Aaron complain about Jordi Rodriguez every time he plays more than like 8 minutes.
Yeah. Jordi went 0 for 4 from deep. Next game goes 3 for 4 and no mention. But you know, it's you need shooting. And it's pretty damn obvious that one of the overglaring still questions surrounding the team, when you broke it down, was the lack of outside shooting, or you know, the hope that people can improve or, you know, kind of reach their ceiling from the outside shooting perspective. So, Aaron, you gotta like that still a little bit, right?
3 of 16 is not great if that's the scenario you're painting for me, Brent.
0 for 4 and then 3 for 4?
I thought you said 0 for 12.
No. 0 for 4 one game and then 3 for 4 the next. That's 3 of 8.
That's 37.5.
And he's a 42% 3-point shooter through his, you know, last year of his career
in Europe. Let's table that. See where we're at here.
And he's still shooting 3-pointers. They're still count for 3.
So
it's a little bit different than guys that try to go finish at the rim through contact in American basketball, where it's a lot more physical at the rim.
We haven't seen that in a little while either, so hopefully we can see a little bit of both.
So in those games that they were playing over there, that you know, Wes was able to make out for one of them. It was fun watching those teams play because Jordi was getting some shots up. He actually had some good plays where he was driving and either dishing or, you know, faking a pass and finishing at the rim. But boy, you saw some Baba Miller in those games where you were just like, wow, pretty amazing what this guy can do. He almost completely decimated a guy, dunking all over his head. He missed, or else that would have been like something that every Bearcat fan would have probably been plastering all over Twitter. But Baba, boy, watching some of those clips and some of those games that I was able to, he has me very excited. So
Hunter also, Buck Harris had a massive dunk on a dude's head in the Smith League, has me ready to be hurt again. Buck's got some bounce. Got a little bounce to him.
He just seems like a ball of like athleticism and energy, which you add in some height to that, and you've got a bouncy dude ready to go out there and ruin people's lives. So I'm in for it.
Also, Greg said new gear update, new football jerseys actually on the way. Expect them in stores as early as next week. So that's good to hear.
That answers one of the mailbag questions.
And not David Bell. Thank you. I appreciate that. Said he thought I handled the Jizzle situation really well. Much appreciated.
Fantastic. Anything more on basketball? Were you guys able to watch that? I don't know how many parts are going to be coming in that. Go ahead.
The plan was to watch it, but I just haven't. I was too busy chauffeuring around town. So
Right.
have not had a chance to catch it yet. I'll probably do that tonight. We're responsible for like 40 chocolate chip cookies for the
40.
For a bake sale for her volleyball scrimmage tomorrow.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to have time to do it tomorrow, and she's not home because she had to spend the night with a friend. So I'm probably going to be up until like midnight making chocolate chip cookies tonight.
Hey,
so
those are tasty, man. Your specialty.
Something
Do you have
like
a special recipe, or you can?
No,
Yeah.
I just bought a tub of chocolate like cookie dough, and I'm going to make it out of that.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's always my specialty. Is I bring my world famous chocolate chip cookies and I put a little special something in each one. So
I don't think that would work at a bake sale. I think I'd probably get in trouble.
Oh no, we ain't talking about that. That was that past weekend in Minnesota, not at the bake sale.
No, D. Smith, but I am the PA announcer for Simon Kenton varsity volleyball this season, so I'll be doing that tomorrow night.
That was
the I know, yeah.
Golly. Well, gotta then give one final nod to that episode. Were you able to watch it, Aaron? What is it? Bearcats Reloaded. Yeah, Bearcats Reloaded, episode 1.
I did a lot of driving
today. Yeah,
just in general.
I hear you. Well, the main takeaway I got, obviously it was a lot of team building. I got a guy, Marcus. I got a guy. But yeah, so the main focus seemed to be like kind of team building, team bonding, trying to create that cohesion, and then
nobody knows each other.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
There's 2 guys that played minutes last year. 2.
Right. Two.
And one of them's not here right now.
Right. They showed the top golf. They showed that one dinner that they all had where, kind of it was also on Twitter or X.com. But the one thing that I kind of saw, what was that?
What, the one at Ruby's?
No, it looked like it was someone's house. I don't know whose house it was, but
probably Wes.
Yeah, they were kind of in the basement, kind of just playing games and ping pong, and then seemed like a cookout, and then before the final practice of the summer workouts. So the other thing that I liked is at the end, Wes had the team, in a big circle, and it seems like he had to pick one of the freshmen to kind of highlight and talk about. And he said he loved both of them, but he's going to talk about Keyshawn Tillery a little bit. And he said, both these guys came in highly regarded, but you would never think that. They're the hardest workers out here. And they showed a lot of highlights of Tillery and kind of what he's been able to bring. And then Tillery had to shout someone out, and he shouted out Sean Abayev, stating that, he's like, I want to shout out Sean because Sean's the reason why I'm working so hard this summer, because he's the one that's in here every single day at 7 a.m. He's the one trying to get better every single day as well. And then Sean Abayev had to shout someone out, and he shouted out one of the support staffs. I want to get the name correct if I could find it. There it is. Nick McDonald shouted him out, said that he is always available to rebound for Sean, and no matter when Sean wants to get some work in, that he's there to help with whatever he needs. So it sounds like when your 2 youngest players are putting in that amount of work and really trying to propel their abilities, that's can only be a good thing. So that was awesome to see as well. And if those guys can push their efforts and push their talents to the point where they're giving great minutes as a true freshman, that would be only a plus for the team. Anything else basketball wise, guys? I obviously there were some questions in the basketball mailbag that we can get to here. If you want to just timestamp and we can mailbag it.
All right. This timestamp again brought to you by our good friends. Hold on. I got to pull it up.
Quick Paper Supply.
At Quick Paper Supply, your local and family and restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supplies, so products like to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. And that brings us to our new sponsor, guys. Are you ready, Aaron? Did you see the boom? It's just Greg Hoodin with the Bearcat.
Greg Hoodin.
There
I mean,
Yes, indeed.
you know, I asked him if he had a graphic for this, and he said, "Can I just send you a picture?" And I said, "We haven't."
Sure.
Yeah, sure. It's your thing. You can do whatever you want with it. And you know what else you can do? You can buy your new or pre-owned Toyota from Greg Hoodin at Beachmont Toyota.
Whew.
Contact a fellow Bearcat family member, Greg Hoodin, via social media. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram at Cincy Greg Hoodin. CINCYGREGHOODIN. Make sure you ask for Greg when you stop in. You can DM him, set up a meeting, or you can just head out and see him at Beachmont Toyota. Ask for Greg. He will get you taken care of.
I wish
I
I
don't
would
know
have
who
known
Chad
that.
Evans is. David Bell.
I wish I would have known that like a year and a half ago when we bought our Grand Highlander. That would have been awesome.
Well, now everyone else knows. Now they know.
There's Greg right there. I turned my camera off just so you get a better view of Greg Hoodin and the Bearcat up there in the upper right-hand corner. Yeah, there's a good chance Corey Evans does make a return again soon, but we have been rather busy doing football content here of late. So hopefully here in a couple weeks we will get back around to having Corey on. Hey, Aaron.
All right, let's start out in the football portion of the Greg Hoodin mailbag.
Let's go.
Starting out, any word on the new football unis going on sale? Pretty crazy. We're 2 weeks out from the season. We haven't heard a peep. If you missed it, we'll go ahead and talk about that here one last time. Greg said that new gear update, new football jerseys are actually on the way. Expect them in stores as early as next week. So he's got an in. He knows
on the inside,
baby. Out here just answering mailbag questions. So there you go.
I love it. That's sponsor participation right there.
Extra points for Greg. 100%.
Yeah. That means you should go buy your car from Greg. And then when you need service on that car, you can take it to Danco Transmission.
That's called an ad inside of an ad. Wow. Amazing.
All right. Last year at this time, if I recall correctly, your assessment of the offense was they would be improved, but not good enough to win a game that turned into a shootout. Based on what you've seen so far, do you think this version of the Bearcats can win a game that gets into the high 30s or beyond?
I mean, based on what we've seen so far, there are more guys that can make a big play, that can get you a 30, 40, 50-yard gain, that can get you a long touchdown. That is how you score in shootouts. You don't do it with 12-play, 72-yard drives that end in 3 points. Like that is not how you win a shootout. You do it by scoring relatively fast, and they have more weapons that have the ability to score relatively fast. I would like to see more 7-play 60-yard drives, more 8-play 75-yard drives, as opposed to if the ball is at the 20, it's going to take most of that quarter for your team to go down the field and score. That's not how you win shootouts.
Going back to the first thing that you said, though, 60-yard drive means you started at your own 40 instead of starting at your own 15, which is very, very different. So how many hidden yards are you grabbing in special teams? That remains to be seen, but hopefully that should be much improved as well. All part of the big picture.
How many times is your defense going 3 and out? That's also how you win field position. You don't give up 2 first downs. That gives the other team, 30 yards in that hidden yardage, Aaron, where they're now punting from the 50 instead of from the 35. That also will shorten the field for you. So
Yeah.
it all ties together. It's a little thing. An old friend of mine that used to wear a sweater or a vest would call complimentary football.
Oh,
Team.
the one with the TEAM on the back.
Together, everyone achieves more.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah. One final thing on that question is it hopefully a more balanced offensive attack this upcoming year helps aid to that too, because it did seem like first half of the year it was pretty balanced, and especially the passing game had some really good games, and then back half of the year, boy oh boy, it was Corey Kiner until Corey Kiner's wheels fell off, and then a little Evan Pryor here and there. So hopefully it's a lot more balanced throughout the year.
All right, for the first few years, we have heard great things in the offseason. We hear how we are bigger and faster. Nico comes on and talks about how great the culture is. We get the preseason records, and we hear how we are going to bowl this year. I get that it is your job to report and hype. It's not. But if you had to bet a painful amount on the Nebraska game, how many points would they have to give before you would bet on the Bearcats? Don't ask Brent this question because he's already all in. It didn't matter.
I mean, is he talking like to bet money line then
for Cincinnati to win? How many points did you have to get for you to bet Cincinnati to win?
I mean, it's at 6.5 right now. I feel like that's a damn steal.
Right.
If I'm being honest.
I think 6.5 is about right.
I think 13.5. Brent's in.
Well, no, I'm like I think he's saying like
2.5. 2.5.
Yeah, you have to go the other way. I mean, hell, give me Bearcats plus 6.5, baby. Come on, do that. I don't need the points.
That's what you're getting. You're getting Bearcats 6.5.
No, I'm saying
give
I'm
6.5.
Flip the line, baby. Winning by at least a touchdown. No, I think 6.5 is good. I think obviously you and Dave, and then on here we're going to dive into Nebraska more. But I've listened to little things here and there, and it's like their fan base expects big things, but every fan base does. But they're going to have some holes, and they're going to still have a quarterback who obviously was highly touted, but he did have a lot of miscues. He had some high times as well, but he's only going to be a true sophomore on top of it. So I think those first games, it's kind of more of a toss up than you really think it is. So I think 6.5 is an extremely fair, thing, and I think it would probably be a lot closer to even if it was like in Indianapolis instead of at Arrowhead Stadium. So that's my 2 cents on where the point is.
Yeah, I mean they're going to be pretty good. I don't know. I mean, you're talking about a team that went 7-6 last year.
Yeah,
and they're one of the youngest teams in the country. Like, this is not a veteran Nebraska team. They are young. There are a ton of freshmen and sophomores on this Nebraska team. So game one, big environment, NFL stadium. How do those dudes handle it? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to pick. I don't think I'm going to pick Cincinnati to win this game outright, but I do think it's going to be close. I do think Cincinnati is much improved than they were a year ago. I also think they've come out of the gate pretty good under Satterfield the last couple of years. The early season has not been like the bugaboo. So I think they're going to be ready for week one. We'll see what my ultimate, as we get closer and closer, you will continue to hear this from me. What do they look like in the fourth quarter? Because most of the games in the Scott Satterfield era have been games that are within striking distance in the fourth quarter. And they have not been able to get across the finish line enough. And until I see otherwise, I'm going to worry about that. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to say this has been a team that has yet to be able to close. Some of that is depth. Some of that is not having adequate Power 5 talent across the roster. I think they have adequate Power 5 talent across the roster now. So the question is, can they, on the field, avoid the mistakes, avoid the one big play that has sent everything sideways, be it special teams, be it an interception, be it a blown coverage, be it not being able to get a quarterback down. One of many, many things that Aaron and I have sat on the aftermath and talked about over and over again, that this game was there for the taking until ... And then we have to break down how things went horribly wrong from there. So
a mad lib, fill in blank.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have no reason to believe that this game's going to be out of hand. I have every reason to believe this is going to be a game that's within reach in the fourth quarter. Is this team different than the other two? And can they go win more of those games than they lose by not making that one catastrophic, what the fuck moment was that, become the talking point?
Run the ball. All right. Based off the scrimmage report, the passing game was very successful. Is this an indication of the offense finally having the right pieces, or the pass defense being subpar? I know it is a difficult question to fully know the answer to until they play a real opponent.
I mean, it's been back and forth. So it hasn't been like we're talking about the pass offense just beating the crap out of the defense every day. So I don't think it is something that's an indication of the offense beating up a bad defense, because the defense has had plenty of days, including today, where I thought the defense, for the most part, dominated the offense today. Now, Saturday was a scrimmage, so there's more weight that's going to be put on that because it's more akin to a live game situation than, a Monday practice. But for me, I think that we have seen the defense play well enough, the pass defense play well enough, that it's more of, I thought both quarterbacks just played really well on Saturday. Dave talked about it some in the practice report thread too, that there were just a couple really, really good throws. Yeah. A couple really good balls that were just delivered at the right time in the right place for the wide receiver to make a play where I know we don't talk a ton about the Bengals here, but like if you went back and watched the Bengals preseason opener, there were guys from the Eagles just catching passes with nobody within 5 yards of them. Like that to me is piss poor defense. I didn't see that a lot on Saturday. So guys are in position to make plays and the quarterback makes a great throw. Sometimes you got to tip your cap to the quarterback. Now, if it starts happening on Saturdays, starting here in 2.5 weeks, then we can come back here and have a much different conversation.
And it also did seem like, just reading through the practice reports from Saturday as well, that a lot of the big pass plays were done on like a third and long and, third and some distance. And it's just like, okay, right. You have to just tip your cap to Sorsby making a good pass.
But also, Brent, it does magnify the other issue.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. Need to get off.
What do you need on third down?
Right.
You need somebody getting after the quarterback. Third and long passing situation. Who's the guy that gets his hands on the quarterback and kills that play so that they can't make a play 30 yards down the field? Like that's where I'm not going to be comfortable that this team has a pass rush until I start seeing sacks pile up on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Because right now they're not doing a great job of it in camp. Like you'll see a sack here and there, but it's a lot of time. Aaron, you can attest to this. Those guys had a lot of time to throw on Saturday.
All day. Both of them. Both Sorsby and Lichty. So it wasn't even just a first team problem. It was also a second team problem.
Yeah.
Unless the offensive line's that good. Moving on. Reading between the lines on many of the nightcaps and other pods, everyone seems to be cautiously optimistic about the season. What's the biggest reason for holding back from even more optimism? Needing to see actual game action, lack of faith in the coaching staff, last season's collapse down the stretch? Good question.
I would say lack the collapse down the stretch tied in with like I just got to see it. Like I don't know if you put all that on the coaching staff or who you put it on, but when it's year 3 and you still are just like I'm the most optimist out there, but you know we saw game in and game out the final 5 games where it's just like, damn, like what are we doing here? Like you're right there, middle 3rd quarter, you're right there, start of the 4th, and then it's just boom, you lose by 14, boom, you lose by 8. You know, it's so. I think it's probably just the collapse more than anything because you saw the glimpses with Sorsby, and so you have Sorsby back. Year 1, it was it was a ragtag put together team, and so I think probably the collapse and then a little bit of just show me, and hopefully that happens.
Yeah, you got to go out and do it. The opportunity is right there in front of you. National TV, big statement game against a team people think are going to be, pretty good in the Big Ten this year. An opportunity, though, you're not talking about a top 5 team. You're talking about a top 30, 35 team. Like, that's the type of team. If you want to set this season off and get the ball rolling in the right direction, you go to Arrowhead Stadium and you beat a top 35 team and you say, we're a top 35 team. We're not a top 50 team. We're not a top 60 team. We're a top 30 team.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Brent because I feel like I'm teetering somewhere between cautiously optimistic and crazy person. So I don't know. For me, it's probably more Brendan Sorsby's got to last an entire season. And for the defense, you've got to do things that you have not done in the last couple of years, which involve sacking the quarterback and picking the ball off. Those things are just they've been glaring omissions from your stat sheets at the end of the day. And between that and just special teams just being average, I don't even care if they're good. I just need them to be average. I think that would take you a long, long way between those couple of things. So you can even get away with Brendan Sorsby potentially having a fall off at the end of the season if some of those other things are fixed. So especially with how run heavy this team is, but those things are things that I want to see. What new player will we be most excited about after the season starts? I know my answer.
Cyrus Allen.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the wide receivers. So, and it seems like Cyrus Allen's the one taking off. So, Cyrus Allen.
I think for me it's Matthew McDoom, and I say
that
because
a legit cornerback one.
Yes. It's when was the last time?
But like you gotta make plays though. You know what I mean? Like, or else it's just like, okay, good job out there.
Which would, if you're making plays, that legitimizes you being an actual CB1. Which that's what I want to see. So if I am that excited about somebody making plays, absolutely, I'm more excited about seeing that than anything.
How about a legitimate WR1? We haven't had one of those in a while either.
Right.
Sauce and Alec Pierce left the same time.
I understand, but I think that with how deep this receiving core is, you can get away with not having a wide receiver.
There's not a one except him. You need a one. I don't think you can get where you want with a bunch of 2s and 3s. It's like a pitching staff, right? Like you can have all the starter 2 and starter 3s you want, but if you don't have an ace, you're just okay.
I think last year we would have been 7 wins if you had 2s and 3s as opposed to 5.
I still think you need a 1. Same as I think at corner you need a 1. Like I'm not saying you're wrong with McDoom. I get it. I'm just saying I think both are probably about the same level of correct. Yeah. Like you need both of those guys.
All right. And the last question in the football portion of the mailbag: if the Bearcats are to have a first-team All-American this year. Who would it likely be? Joe Cotton, Joe Royer, Max Fletcher, Jake Golday, or the Godfather?
I'm going Godfather just because he's been there before. In a known name nationally. If he kind of just has a dominant year and they're kind of right there, then I think I'd have to go with him.
I wonder if Chad is off the radar, and I wonder if he's going where I think he's going.
You go ahead.
Cyrus
I'll let you have it if you want it.
Is it Gavin?
No.
I thought maybe you were going Gavin. I thought that's what your look was. Because if it's somebody not on the list, I think it would be Gavin. If I'm going on the list, I think it's Joe Royer.
Max Fletcher.
Max Fletcher, yeah. Another guy who's also been there.
He's been there, and I can't imagine there are more than 4 or 5 punters in America with his leg. So that puts him in the elite group to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
He was way up there at Arkansas, and I just can't, I'm sure there's guys out there a couple guys that are as good as Max Fletcher. I can't imagine there's a punter out there with a better leg than Max Fletcher.
Yeah.
So Max Fletcher.
Agreed. And yeah, kind of what Leroy's saying is like Leroy McFarland. He said that like Joe Royer is like so far down on the Mackey Award odds right now, and so you got to have like a dominant year to just leap.
And they're going to spread the ball around
to first team All-American. I think he might be the first drafted tight end just because he is going to show well at the testing combines and whatnot. But yeah, you got to be a dominant dude. Joe Cotton maybe, but yeah, I think Fletcher's a good. Max Fletcher's a good one. Golday, you got to have a bunch of sacks, INTs, and potentially a touchdown here or there. So we'll see.
Fumbles, fumble recoveries, touchdowns.
Yeah, the number side.
All right, that ends the football portion of the Greg Hoodin mailbag. Moving on to the basketball portion of the Greg Hoodin mailbag. Check out Greg Hoodin for all your Toyota needs.
Love it.
All right. Starting out in the basketball portion, I've seen posts on the board about UC assistant staff being seen as less involved in practice and generally less impressive from some that have apparently seen several other schools. Seeing as you have the best long-term access to the team and staff, do you notice any differences between Wes Miller's staff in practice or games versus previous coaching staffs that you see or others you are familiar with around the NCAA?
Well, I can tell you the guy, Mick, there wasn't a whole lot of assistants didn't do a whole lot of talking at practice. Some, they contributed some, but Mick was the dominant voice. I think Wes is of a similar vein. I know Hugs was of a similar vein. I don't think it's that different than most. I mean, I'm sure, there are probably some staffs that their assistants do a little bit more talking, but especially at the college level, the head coach is the voice. And I think that's pretty normal. You think you go into a Nate Oates practice and his assistants are doing all the talking? Coach Cal? No. I can tell you from my experience at mixed practices, Mick dominated the conversation on game day, on practice day, on film study. Like, I don't think it's that different than really anything I've ever experienced. It probably is, like, for a high school coach, a little bit new. I'm sure that, you're working a little bit more as delegating a little bit more, because there's not as much money on the line for the guy that sits in the number one chair that if he gets fired, he loses $5 million a year. That's not going to be the assistants that cost him that $5 million a year. I can assure you of that. So I don't think it's that different than most college staffs anywhere. And it's definitely not different than what I've seen when I've gone to practices at all. I watched Kevin last year at Summit. There was one person who talked, Kevin. That's just how coaching goes. Like, the head coach is the head coach for a reason. Not like UC does their assistants. They have a lot of stuff where there's breakouts and a portion of the team's over here and a portion of the team's over here. And that's all assistants that are doing the coaching in those segments. But when it's 5-on-5 and the team's playing, the head coach is going to be the one talking.
I wonder how much Penny Hardaway does talking when he has guys like Mike Miller or Larry Brown.
Yeah.
As
that might be different. That might be different. That might be different.
That was something I was thinking about as you're talking about, good coaches as opposed to Penny. But, anyway, I digress. Summer results from the Monster Factory are in. Mike Rayfelt, by the way, shout out getting your degree, becoming a UC alum. Well done, sir. Which of the following?
What do you think of the new mustache? Have you seen his picture?
Wild.
Lately?
Yeah, wild.
That guy can do whatever he wants. He's a dude.
It's a very like 80s, 90s.
It's a very
mustache.
Different look. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he pulls it off pretty well.
Oh, he does. Yeah. Handsome men can pull off any facial hair. I mean, look at us three.
I don't know where to go with that. Summer results from the Monster Factory are in. Which of the following muscle gains could be most impactful this season? Shauna Bayev, 198 to 207. For you math people, that's a jump of 9 pounds. Buck Harris, 166 to 179. That's 13 pounds. Or Mustafa Cham from 232 to 248. That's 16 pounds.
I'll go Harris. He was already an absolute menace defensively. And now he's going to throw 13 pounds of muscle on top of that. Like, I think he's going to be hard to get off, like to keep off the floor. I think you're going to want him on the floor more often than not, even if there are offensive limitations, because he's just so elite defensively. And I can only imagine what having that extra strength is going to be able to do and allowing him to fight through screens and stay connected to his man. I'll go Buck.
I'm going Cham. For me, it's just development, just furthering development. And when you're able to just be that tall, that long, and you add muscle and you bulk up at that size, I'm there for it being Cham.
Yeah, 250 at his size is a little different than 230. That's a lot. That's a lot of weight to put on in a little bit amount of time. So, just curious to see where he's at by the time. Tip.
Greg, I do have a funny Penny story in regards to this. Does Penny ever tell the story how he lost to the Bearcats 4 times in one season? That's a great story. So UC was recruiting Alex Lomax, who was a point guard that eventually ended up at Memphis. Penny was his AAU coach at the time, and UC was on him pretty heavy. And this is before Penny got the job. Once Penny got the job, it was pretty obvious that Alex played for him in high school and AAU. He was going to end up playing with Memphis. So I'm interviewing Alex, and after I'm done with the interview, I'm like, hey, have you ever talked to Penny about going to Cincinnati? And he was like, no, not really. Like, we're not. He was still like sophomore going into his junior year, I think, at that point in time. And I said, well, do me a favor. And next time, if it ever comes up, just ask him what his history, like what he remembered about playing Cincinnati when he was in college. And I just left it at that. I don't know if he ever asked him, but I set it up for Alex to be like, how'd you do against Cincinnati when you were in college, coach? And then Penny to have to tell the story of how he lost to them twice in the regular season, once in the conference tournament, and once to go to the Final Four. So
Penny probably wouldn't say that. He would have just been like, "Do you still want playing time?"
Right.
Still want to
I think I did say, I'm just kidding. Don't ask him. Don't ask him that. For your sake, don't ask him that.
Right.
Jason, what's up, man? Good to have you. Good to see you live. And sorry you've been living on a plane the last month. As long as there haven't been any snakes on those planes, you should be good.
I feel like he could have asked Penny that question because I'm not sure that Penny delegates minutes because I'm still not sure how much coaching he actually does. But again, I digress. How long until we anticipate Jordi to arrive on campus?
I would think before school starts, if not somewhere shortly thereafter. They've been working on it for a couple weeks now. So hopefully they can get it done and have him here in the next couple weeks. I don't have an answer on that yet, on that specifically yet, though.
Should have just put him in a suitcase, Baba's suitcase. All right, and the last question in the basketball portion. How do you think Kerr's role changes given the recent backcourt news?
What recent backcourt news? I don't think there's been any recent backcourt news, so I don't think there's anything to change yet.
Yeah.
If there is news, then we can address that. But as it currently stands, there is no news that changes anybody's role to this point.
Mm-hmm.
If there is, come back and ask again, and I will give you a detailed answer to that question. But right now, nothing has officially changed.
Here we go.
There is nothing in the baseball portion of the mailbag, nothing in the banks portion of the mailbag, and that is your Greg Hoodin mailbag. Brent, get us out of here.
Fantastic, guys. Fantastic. Scrimmage in the background. Ryan Royer, we missed you. Hopefully you're enjoying family vacation. Guys, football is close. It's literally 17 days away. Literally going to be excitement brewing. It's going to be one of the more fun starts to any football season that we've had in a while. Probably that road game at UCLA, just where it's just like big marquee first game. Well, I guess Arkansas was a game. Anyway, big game coming up for the Bearcats Thursday in 17 days. And we're going to continue to talk about the preparation leading up to that game and everything else that needs to be tied in there. So stay locked into BCJ. Of course, more and more fall camp continuing to trudge through. And outside of that, Bearcats are back all over the place. So fantastic shout out to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Fantastic shout out to Greg Hoodin. Fantastic shout out to Quick Paper Supply for supplying all the timestamps for us. So for my guys, for the crew, for the squad, for Aaron Smith, and for Chad Brendel, I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!